DevOps and CI/CD Part 18. This episode has 5 questions. For each question, take a moment to think through your own answer before I share a strong approach. Question 1. What is Docker exec? Here's a strong way to approach it. What is Docker exec? Docker exec is a Docker command used to run a new command inside an already running container. It allows you to access, inspect, troubleshoot, or execute tasks within a running container without restarting it. Syntax: Docker exec options. Container command. Common examples: open a shell, Docker exec. Itnginx container or bin or bash if bash is not available. Docker exec itnginx container or bin or sh. Check running processes. Docker exec itnginx container psf. View files. Docker exec itnginx container ls. L or app. Check environment variables. Docker exec itnginx container env. Important options. Option description: I keep stdin open. T allocate a terminal at interactive terminal session you run as a specific user. E pass environment variable. Example: Docker exec u root. It my container bash. How it works: running container. Docker exec new process inside container. The container's main process continues running while Docker starts an additional process inside the same container. Docker exec versus Docker run feature. Docker exec. Docker run creates new container. Cross mark check mark uses existing container. Check mark cross mark starts new process. Check mark common use troubleshooting or admin tasks. Launch application. Example: Docker run ginx creates a new container. Docker exec. Itnginx container bash accesses an existing container. Real-world uses: debugging application issues, checking logs and files, verifying configuration, running database commands, troubleshooting network connectivity. Example: Docker exec itmisql container MySQL u root p connect directly to a running MySQL instance. Kubernetes equivalent. Docker exec it container bash Kubernetes. Kubectl exec it pod name bash. Both allow interactive access to a running workload. Interview answer: 7+ years experience. Docker exec is used to execute a command inside an already running container. Unlike Docker run, which creates a new container, Docker exec starts an additional process within an existing container. It is commonly used for troubleshooting, inspecting files, checking processes, validating configurations, and performing administrative tasks. The adoption is frequently used to open an interactive shell session inside the container for debugging and operational support. Nice. Let's continue. Question 2. Explain Docker inspect. Here's a strong way to approach it. What is Docker inspect? Docker inspect is a Docker command used to view detailed low-level information about Docker objects such as containers, images, networks, volumes. It returns information in JSON format. Syntax: Docker inspect